Greetings, my Reapers, and today... Okay, I'm gonna lie to you. This is a Steve Shives video. The title of the video is, why YouTube Atheism Needs Feminism. And I'm just gonna get this bandwagon out of the way, so I don't fucking have to deal with this shit, but... I just wanted to get this out of the way now. I don't support feminism. Or at the very least, I don't support the third world feminism. Yes, I think women deserve... Yes, I deserve women... Well, this is why we don't do unscripted videos. Yes, I think women deserve equal rights to men. Yes, I think women deserve equal pay to men. No, I don't think we should be hating men. And no, I don't think white males, in specifically... English, what is it? And specifically white men, should die. This is going to be an interesting video, and part of me thinks that I should have made this scripted. But then again, I don't care. I mean, if I want to do more Steve Shives videos, I'll pick something a little less new. But with that being said, let's just get this over with.
Atheism and feminism are naturally complementary to one another.
Oh wait, that doesn't work right now. No, they're not. Atheism and feminism are obviously two different coins of the spectrum. Yeah, I see feminism more attached to really hostile religions. Only instead of worshipping gods, they're worshipping, well, women. And while yes, there are feminists out there who are atheists, Steve Shives, it just kind of feels like feminism has ended up being less illogical and more heinous. And trust me, there's going to be a lot to talk about later if I ever do decide to do a Steve Shives video. Hell, I kind of want to incorporate veganism into my soul-shattering debut.
There is no human institution that has done so much in so many cultures across such a long period of time to hold women down as organized religion. For most of the history of civilization...
Okay, I'll give you that one. I mean, pick any verse from the Bible. Yeah, one of the problems with me doing feminist videos is sometimes they have a point. And while no, that doesn't mean it's a bad video or not worthy of me arguing over. I mean, hell, just because they have a few good points here and there doesn't mean it's not soul shatter worthy. It's not soul shatter worthy if it's like they're not doing anything stupid. Like that one guy who asked like 6 questions. But let's just get this over with.
The proposition that women ought to be treated equally to men was just as radical as the proposition that gods did not exist. Before I get too far into this, I want to make it clear that I will be using multiple senses of the word atheism.
I'm going to skip this because, yeah, there's absolutely no point to this part of the video. At least from me, anyway. Let me put it this way. Him talking about the fact that he's going to use multiple definitions of atheism, such as the community... Oh, is this it?
This video. This will be obvious to most of you.
So, yeah, I'm just going to skip this part for now because this is about as important as the interviews in Audacity. They're not.
To the community of atheists or the body of work produced. And to propose that something be done to change those trends that I find troubling. I'm not proposing that we redefine what atheism means, and I'm not suggesting that people who disagree with me about stuff are not authentic atheists. Okay?
Hey, I'm making this video response in like a few minutes. Let's get this over with.
Good. Now I'm going to turn into another shot to disguise a jump cut. Hey. As I was saying, given the fact that both atheists and advocates for the rights of women have historically been oppressed by organized religion...
Okay. I've got nothing to say. Part of me... let's just continue because... I've got nothing to say at this point.
And also given the fact that modern atheism has largely rejected other regressive attitudes traditionally promoted by religious fundamentalism, like hostility to science and modern medicine, or overt prejudice against LGBT people, you might think that atheism and feminism would be the strongest of allies. And in the minds of many atheists and many feminists, they are. Thanks to the internet, I have a fairly large circle of friends and...
Okay, let me just stop right here, because you're clearly taking too long to get to the point that I'm trying to make. Here's the problem, though. And no, this doesn't apply to all feminists. There might be some who, like me, think that men and women should be treated equal. But there are some extreme feminists who think men deserve to be oppressed because, well, women were oppressed. And that's my biggest problem here. Not only that, but you have idiots like Anita Sarkeesian going around like, you guys are sexist! Like, trust me, there will be a day when I do an Anita Sarkeesian video. I'm not sure when, I'm not sure what I'll be doing, but there will be a day. I've already admitted my allegiance to Gamergate, so let's just keep going.
Acquaintances who, like me, identify as both atheist and feminist, and find that the two fit together quite neatly. My friend...
I'm going to be completely honest here. This is going to be a very painful one to get through. Mostly because I'd be repeating myself at this point. Could you imagine if I did a live version of this with a Shock of God video? Holy shit.
Friends and I aren't alone. Voices supportive of feminism are everywhere in the atheist community. Unfortunately, there is also a faction within atheism that is aggressively hostile toward women in general and outspoken feminists in particular. This faction is most active here on YouTube.
Gee, I wonder why.
Within it are several of the most subscribed to atheist channels. These regularly feature videos attacking feminists, spreading misinformation about feminism, and attempting to undermine effort.
What do you even expect me to say at this point? Look, dude, I hate to break it to you, but feminism isn't exactly what you think it is. I mean, when you pretty much have to, like, angrily... What is it I'm looking for? Yeah, there's a reason I don't do these very often. When you see someone who has to pull the fire alarm just to get their point across, you're not exactly doing it the most logical way. I mean... I don't know how to describe it. It's just... there was like a while back ago when there was like the MRAs were young. And no, I don't see them as much better than the feminists, but that's a video for another day. Back when the MRAs were just starting out, there was like some sort of, what was it? There was like, what's the word I'm looking for? Protest outside of their hallways. And then one of the feminists pulls the fire alarm and wasted like a fuck ton of firemen's time and all that stuff. And then they're like, women are oppressed! Shut up! Women are oppressed! You know, it just hit me. This is completely pointless. I already know he's not going to watch this video. I already know he's going to block me almost the minute I upload this thing, which should be tomorrow. And for the record, I'm doing this on Tuesday night. I can't. So, I'm just going to continue because...
...to address problems of importance to feminists, such as sexual assault or the wage gap. Beyond that, there's support...
Okay, you do understand the wage gap is pretty much disproven, right? Yeah, I know this is probably not going to be taken seriously, and I'll have to look for another link, but 5 myths that won't die from time, and this is opinion, so... I don't know, but myth 1, women... Not only that, but, like, I don't even think it makes sense. I mean, we live in a world... where you're supposed to get equal pay regardless of your gender. So, like, it kind of comes off as, like, there was, like, this one company who, what is it? I'm just gonna, like, leave this alone for now, but, like, there was this, this company, I saw this on Argon of... Aren't you guys grateful that I edited my videos a little bit? Anyways, oh hey, Sargon of Akkad, hi. So he did a video a while back ago called This Week in Stupid. I can't remember which day it was, but I know he mentions a company. that realizes that there's sexism and feminism. To correct this, they raise the women's pay gap. I mean, not pay gap, paid wage. I'm just going to say wage and move on. And that brings up a number of questions. 1. Did you actually have the women's pay reduced on purpose? If you did, why are you sexist? If you didn't, why are you raising their pay? And you do realize that that makes you sexist against men. Yeah. Let's move on, please. This is...
Eagerly join the effort, inundating comment sections with insults, pedantic demands for evidence of even mundane and uncontroversial claims,
that kind of sounds like atheism in a way.
and childish declarations that they have been pwned or wrecked.
Wow, I didn't know this was 2005 still.
Commenters of this sort also like to challenge feminists to debates on behalf of their favorite anti-feminists. Occasionally, especially if the target is a woman, they'll even resort to doxing.
Okay, I would never do that. What is doxing anyway?
Or threats of physical violence.
Okay, you're not going to say it, so what's doxing? Don't you just love it when doxing is a neologism that has evolved over its brief history? It comes off a spelling alteration of the abbreviation of dox and refers to compiling and releasing a dulcer of personal information on someone. Yeah, I never do that. I will bring up different things that they've done. Like I brought up on my Shock of God video I did forever ago. I brought up the fact that he would hang up on people he was debating with on his on his radio show and use that as an argument. I wouldn't bring up their address, stuff like that, but I will bring up past offenses. I know that's kind of an ad hominem, but if it's relevant, then I don't know. I mean, potatoes. Like, for example, let's say that I'm debating with a feminist who's actually murdered a guy because feminism. Am I not allowed to bring that up? Am I not allowed to, like, point that out, especially if I'm debating that specific feminist? Why not? I mean, isn't that, like, worthy of something? I mean, I don't think we should use one guy's actions against them. Like, I can't use Shock of God's offenses to debate, say, Ran, but at the same time...
The high-profile anti-feminist YouTubers don't directly instigate these actions of their followers, but they don't seem all that concerned with them either.
Well, what do you expect them to do about it?
Despite these sorts of things being done in their names by self-professed fans of theirs.
Okay, 1, are you aware trolls still exist on the internet? Yes, they are annoying, and yes, they don't exactly deserve my respect, but at the same time, they still exist. And 2, what do you expect them to do? Like, what happens when your fans do things similar in your name? What exactly can you do in that situation besides tell them, knock it off? And even then, what guarantee is there that that's actually going to work?
All the time. There are 2 major results of this. First, feminists, especially women, either stop participating in the YouTube atheist community or decide not to start. And second, the atheist community as a whole is perceived by those outside of it as being a place where sexism and misogyny are not merely tolerated, but rewarded.
What? 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 Where did this come from? Not once have I ever said that men are better than women. I always thought of them as equals. Never have I thought one gender was better than the other. Not even when I was a little kid, when that was expected of me. Where did this even come from? This is like the equivalent of atheists eat babies. Then again, Bible's fucking weird as shit.
It seems to me that both of these results are undesirable. One of the most damaging effects wrought on society by religion has been the subjugation of women. For centuries, we've been told that women are unfit for leadership, ought to be kept in narrow gender roles as wives and mothers.
And to be fair, that's still kind of going on today. Not within the atheist community, as far as I'm aware, but there are still people out there who think women should just remain in the household. I'm honestly not one of them, and I do think that there will be a day when a woman president will come up. Probably won't be Hillary Clinton, but it'll happen someday. I kind of thought originally Hillary Clinton was going to be inevitable, and then frickin' Bernie Sanders shows up. I'm like, no, he's going to win.
And are undeserving of autonomy and generally less worthy than men. Many atheists are quick to speak out against the religious oppression of women today, whether it's found here in the West or in other parts of the world. But if we're going to cite the mistreatment of women as a point against religion, shouldn't we be vigilant about identifying and confronting the mistreatment of women in our own communities?
Okay, fair enough. I will call out sexism when it's needed. I'll call out illogicalness when it's needed, especially since my name is the Illogical Reaper. But, you need to understand that we will call it... I'll call it out. I'm not sure about the rest of the community, but at the same time, I don't know what you're expecting me to say. I'm just one guy with, like, as this video is being made, 67 subscribers.
Religious oppression of women can be easy to spot. Churches have rules banning women from certain roles, imposing rigid standards of dress and conduct, establishing gender segregation.
Oh yeah, don't forget that one Bible verse where it's like women aren't allowed to speak in church or something. I always thought Cult of Dusty would follow your footsteps too. I don't know.
Segregated worship services, and so on. Oppression of women in the YouTube atheist community is not nearly so formal. Nowhere is it codified that women should not be allowed to speak freely.
Okay. I have no problem with that. I'm subscribed to... Well, actually, currently I think... Hell, Bionic Dance is an atheist YouTube channel. It's run by a woman, and I still listen to her as if I listen to everyone else, like Armored Skeptic. But I will point out misinformation when it's there. That's not misogyny, that's, well, me doing my job. I am the Reaper. I will shudder your soul for being dumb. But at the same time, there is a different... forget it. I'm not gonna bother with that. This is not the video for that.
But the hostility toward feminism, the petulant complaining in response to attempts to address sexism.
Okay, let's get this over with. For the record, this is based on false accusations made by most feminists because potatoes. Where did this even come from? I feel like this was a wayward spark. I don't know, but at the same time, I'm surprised anyone's taking that movement seriously, especially since... And I kind of actually blame Tumblr for it. I feel like Tumblr's influence has warped feminism into what it is now. So... Meh.
And the outright withering abuse that greets women in this community all add up to send an unmistakable message.
What? You're not talking to me, I already know that, because I'm not sexist. So, I mean... His eyes are fucking weird.
You and your point of view are not welcome here. Many atheists also identify as humanists, or at least share many key humanist values. But it seems to me that no humanist worthy of the label would tolerate women being mistreated in their community.
Agreed. But there's a difference between mistreatment and, false accusations.
Women being human, last I checked. Humanism and feminism don't stand in opposition to each other. And anyone who thinks that...
Well, old feminism and humanism don't stand in opposition to each other, but... This new wave of feminism sure as hell does.
They do has misunderstood at least one and probably both of those things.
So,
what about the role YouTube atheism's pronounced streak of misogyny plays in how atheism is perceived by non-atheists? Though the anti-feminist YouTubers aren't representative of the broader community, theirs are often among the first voices encountered by people who are curious about atheism. Like most minority...
For those non-atheists who are thinking about our position, I'd recommend the Armored Skeptic. I'm just saying.
Groups atheists are often misrepresented. We need to make sure that the stereotype of an atheist as an angry, condescending male chauvinist is just that, a straw man that doesn't represent the general character of our community. And we don't do that by rounding up the anti-feminists and running them out of town on a rail, as I have occasionally been accused of advocating.
No, but, like, I don't know where to start with you on this, but let's start with the first fact. I have no problem with feminists. Or at least, I wouldn't have no problem with feminists if they actually stood for equality. My problem with feminists is that they lie. They lie a lot. And if they do stand for equality, and if feminism is equality, then I'm the feminist, and most of them are just shitty bitches.
We do that by speaking up for ourselves, by making our voices louder and more numerous than theirs. We need to make it clear to them, to ourselves, and to those outside of our community with whom we hope to coexist in freedom and peace and equality, that the anti-feminists, the sexists, the misogynists do not speak for us.
I've got nothing. I legitimately don't have anything to say. It's just, I think there was just so much bullshit coming out of his mouth right there. It's like, oh, you don't stand for feminism? Well, then you're an angry misogynist. Or maybe you're just a dumbass who doesn't understand what feminism has become.
To some of you, this may sound like I'm making a mountain out of a molehill.
You are.
Women aren't being forced to undergo genital mutilation or marry into indentured servitude on YouTube. But if the amount of anti-feminist rhetoric, not to mention the exuberant applause that often greets that rhetoric, is keeping atheist women from having a stronger voice in our community...
Bionic Dance, Girl Does Rants, Jacqueline Glenn. You want me to just list off all the women, all the female YouTubers who are all the atheist YouTube females?
And it is. Isn't that a problem?
No,
and
I'm not
if that
saying the
rhetoric...
problem, because they do have a voice. People do genuinely listen to them. Yeah, there are those assholes who make fun of them for being women, but they're assholes. I still listen to these YouTubers, or not Jacqueline Glenn, she's kind of lost her touch, but I still listen to Bionic Dance. I don't really listen to Girl Does Rants, but that's a story for another day. But, like, do you even know what you're talking about?
Consists not merely of honest, informed disagreement, but straw-manning and demonizing of feminism of the sort that we would never tolerate were it directed at atheism, and it does.
Men cannot be raped. That is the one sentence that pretty much guaranteed I'd be anti-feminist all the way through. This is going to be an interesting little video, isn't it? Also, Steve Shives wants to kiss me.
Shouldn't we be standing against it? This isn't the first time I've talked about this. I've spoken out strongly in support of feminism numerous times, and it's always incensed a certain portion of those who watched those videos. Some even try to deflect the charge of being anti-feminist by claiming that it's only third-wave feminism that they really have a problem with.
If that isn't something that you're listening to, you've clearly got something wrong here. Because if you aren't even aware of what you're talking about, you've already fucked up.
In my experience, most people who make such comments demonstrate an understanding of third-wave feminism roughly equivalent to the average young Earth creationist's understanding of the second law of thermodynamics.
Really? 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 Holy shit. I thought those were jokes. I thought those jokes about, like, you thinking women are always right. Like, I thought those were actual jokes. That just proved it right there. They're not. He's actually being serious. Fuck me. Holy shit. Steve Shives, you deserve a video all to yourself. Not something like this. Something actually related to the Illogical Reaper. Holy fuck.
I've also lost count of how many times I've received indignant comments declaring that though I call myself an atheist, feminism is my true religion. A religion, as any self-professing atheist worth a damn ought to know, is typically defined as a belief system based on divine revelations and dogmatic principles handed down from unquestionable authorities.
Actually, yeah, that kind of is what feminism is, or at least the third wave feminism. I mean, think about it for a moment. Do you doubt a woman? Do you doubt a woman? Do you ask her for the evidence of her claims? If she claims she was raped, do we not ask for her evidence? Because if not, you're kind of proving their point. If you do, then what the fuck are you making this video about? Fucking hell, dude. When you manage to make a joke into something serious, like, I originally thought those were just jokes made by Sci 10, but no. As far as I'm concerned, this is increasingly becoming aware that he has no self-awareness, that he doesn't doubt women. Fucking fuck. Where do you even come from? What? I'm just gonna play the rest of the video. I need to.
Anyone who believes that something like a divine revelation is necessary to recognize the ongoing oppression of women, or that feminists are mindless followers of authority, needs to take his head out of his ass.
What? If a woman says that she's been raped, but has no evidence of her rapist committing the rape, is he still considered a rapist? The fact that many feminists say yes to that kind of says a lot. While yes, I'm aware that the justice system is a little flawed, we still just can't throw people in the gutter. That's the equivalent of witch trials.
Such a worldview is only possible if the perception of the person holding it is clouded by ignorance or warped by unconscious bias.
I don't even know where to start. I don't even know where to start. Fucking hell. All this is doing is just convincing me that Steve Shives deserves an episode of the Illogical Reaper dedicated to him. Holy fucking shit. I don't even know where to start. No. I'm ending this. This is the end of the video. Any more of this, and I'm just gonna lose my mind. Now, Illogical Reaper out.